Right, good evening everybody. Welcome to the victory lap, I suppose. Last week we finally finished this challenge after exactly 1 year of struggling and reached the solar system edge with this very non-functional spaceship where we laser huge asteroids to death, except the ones which are coming from the front because, well, we just don't have enough laser power to destroy them fast enough. So we use walls, the best weapon in the game, to destroy them. Slight problem though, we took enough space platforms and walls to get to the solar system edge, but the way back is not really clear if we're gonna have enough, so we have slowed down the ship a bit. That's going to be our background for today. We're just gonna be slowly flying back to Aquilo and Novis. 70,000 kilometers left to go at roughly 20 kilometers a second. If we go slower, it takes less walls and less space platforms to stop the asteroids and make them explode. So hopefully we will have enough platforms to get back there. But just to have a quick look in here, we started out with 20k, we have 4,000 remaining, and we still have 70,000 kilometers left to go of the 200,000 kilometer round trip, so it's not looking bright. It will be a question to see if we can get back or not. Right, so today is more just going to be sort of a retrospective on the run. I learned that word from Josh Doshington, by the way, with his retrospective videos. We curiously sometimes seem to capture an asteroid like this. Okay, no, okay, there we go, we took on some speed. We don't have the constant speed which we had before, so we accelerate and decelerate a little. Oh yeah, this was how we got to the solar system edge, pretending that we are shooting them, but actually just blowing them up by walls most of the time, except the ones which come on the side, because we do need to grab some stuff to fuel the thrusters in the back. A very simple ship really, just a brick with tons and tons of laser turrets, a big fusion reactor to power everything, a big cargo hold for all the replacement walls and space platforms, and then just the hammerhead which hammers all the asteroids into oblivion. In order to defeat the asteroids you need to sink like an asteroid, and that's what we've been doing on our solar system edge ship. So yeah, today we're just going to look back a little bit on the run. Some people have already sent me some questions, so we're going to look into that, like, can this be done on that world? And what could have gone, what could we have done different looking back on the strategies we developed? Could we have done this much faster? And if so, where? And of course, all questions you will be asking me live in the chat, I'll try to answer them. This should be a more interactive stream than usual. I should have a lot of time to look at chat, because I'm certainly not going to look at this for 2 hours. I already saw somebody was playing Factorio themselves and saw their ship was getting blown up. Yeah, we're using lasers because when we designed the very first spaceship, I think it was the calcite hauler, somebody said it couldn't be done. So this was the very first iteration of the laser ship, which we used in the inner solar system to go to Vulcanus. It had a lot of solar panels because nuclear power wasn't invented yet back in the day, and some accumulators. It needed all of that power to power a couple laser turrets up front, and we could barely get to Vulcanus this way with a low damage level. We still have a low damage level, by the way. We are at damage level 7. Laser. Yeah, level 8 is available, level 7 is research. It looks a bit strange, level 7 is the first of the infinite ones, so it's not mentioned. But we have level 7 shooting speed, level 7 damage, no further infinite upgrades or whatever. Which is the reason why we need this hammerhead. But in my tests, even if I gave myself like laser damage like 9 or 10, which costs like 8 to 16 million signs. We don't have time to wait for that. It didn't make that much of a difference, to be honest. we still get wrecked by the asteroids coming from the front, especially when they group up like this. There is no time to destroy them all. So in the end, we just went with a low damage level and a high wall count, and that did the job. What's the estimated time left on the mech armor? That's pretty precise actually, 1 hour and 38 minutes. Our science rate has been very stable. Uh, 5904 SPM for the last 10... I think it's the last 50 hours or so. If we look at the 50-hour graph, yeah, 50 hours straight of maximum science, 5904. Indeed, that is 1800 SPM, as Eveson asked. We basically get double from the biolabs and 64% from the productivity modules, and that way we end up at 5904. What is breaking? It's one of those grazing ones. Those are the worst. The ship is repairing itself as the asteroid slices a piece of wall off of it. Can we go to the Shattered Planet? Not with this ship, no. I don't think there's a way to get to the Shattered Planet with laser turrets only. I went to the Shattered Planet on the new player experience. And no. It just becomes like a screen filled with huge asteroid, and also the double hit point Prometheum ones. These have 5,000 hit points, these have 10,000. So that is not going to happen. You will be needing area of effect damage to get to the Shattered Planet. Look at all this shiny laser turrets shooting everything. That must be a lot of power usage. Yeah, we're definitely 1.5 gigawatts of power, man. Alright, let me try to look back a bit. Thanks for the congratulations, everybody. Yeah, will we be turning this into a mega base? That's a good question. I'm definitely gonna take a break from this playthrough. I want to do something different. Probably. I don't know, maybe I'll feel different in a week or two. But I'm going to take a break from this playthrough for sure. I'm not taking a break from this playthrough now, am I? I am doing the retrospective, so who knows? Who knows how it will go? Maybe we'll go mega base. I think we gotta... Yeah, let's just start with that one then. Will we go mega base? Is it possible even to overcome the hump of all the infinite research levels we need to get to actually get like infinite legendary quality, everything and whatnot? I am not entirely sure that is possible. If we look, like, let's just say that's the space casino, right? It's not nerfed yet, so we could use it, which means we want a low density structure productivity bonus. I think we need 30 levels of that to get to 300% productivity bonus, where you can basically upcycle one piece of common coal into guaranteed legendary stuff without any losses, which is the key. The key is to not have any losses if you want to upcycle to legendary quality, or you will need a literal ton of base resources to do it. That doesn't look very plausible to get to level 30 on this with the base I currently have. Which means I would need a bigger base. But then, to make a bigger base, I would probably like to have legendary quality everything, so that's kind of a chicken and egg situation there. Yeah, Whoop said they will nerf it indeed in Factorio 2.1. I guess the first step would probably be to make Prometheum science. This looks very much worth it, and the cost scales not as hard as the other one. We start at 1.2, 1.4, 1.7, so it goes up not so fast. 2.0, 2.4. It goes up more and more every time, but that's 5 levels. Looks like it doubles every 5 levels actually. So it's quite, so that would mean 4.8 at level 10. Level 10 is already 100% research productivity bonus. gonna guess that stacks with productivity modules. So that brings us from 64 to 164. Still pretty good though. So that would make my science packs worth more by itself. It does look like we will need, that is very annoying. It does look like we will need to double our biolab setup to keep tacking at the full pace. This is a 120-second technology. I've built the labs for only 60-second technologies, which were always the longest technologies in the game. You know, and back in my day. Hope the episodes speed up. I think we are halfway in terms of episodes. We're also halfway in terms of playtime. It took me 270 hours to leave Novice, and we ended before 540. So the gameplay sped up after unlocking Vulcanus, basically. That really did a lot. So hopefully the episodes will keep up as well. I've already laid out the roadmap, and that indicates we should be about halfway. But I think the individual episodes are getting longer, so there might also be more time in between episodes, because it's gonna take longer to make everyone if they are longer. So yeah, Megabase. We basically we have a lot of technologies to go through still. If we want to go Megabase, we need to catch up in regular technologies like bot speed, bot cargo size. We probably want a couple extra levels of laser damage so our ship can fly a bit more faster or safer through space. Our Aquilo ship is not exactly outfitted to it's not exactly outfitted to survive or to go damageless through space, so that would be welcome. On the positive note, I'm gonna switch off the stuff breaking. 1 second here. Entity destroyed. Let's mute it at least, so we can still see it, but it's not gonna make the sound every time. How's it going? Oh boy. Less than 3,000 now. I think we went 10,000 kilometers. We might have to just switch off the engine and fall back to Novice. If we do that, we will be falling down back at 10 kilometers a second. Yeah, I think let's do that. We'll switch off the engines. And that maybe will save us. Looking over the planets, we are pretty well set up to keep going. Before we went to space, we did go the distance. Before we went to the solar system edge, we did go the distance to make sure tech could continue at the pace it has been going for the last 50 hours. Just at a full speed. Pretty sweet tech graph, actually. I'm pretty proud of my tech graph. So, and with the help of the foundries, the resources have been, well, we're consuming them, but all of the patches we set up like at least over 100 hours ago at this point are still going pretty strong. This one was 16 million when we put this mining contraption in place, and now it's at 13 million, so it will still keep going strong. And even if one of these ran out, we hooked up 4 backup patches to these so that is these 2 belts. They are not moving at all, so all of the copper is still coming from the 4 main patches. But we did set up a 5th one, and the 5th one, let me try to follow that belt back. So here's the 5th one. It's not moving. It also has 8 million. So Novice will be good for a long time. Iron is running the same. The oil tanks are full. And Novice can keep chugging along for a very long time without any attention. Of course, the same is true for Gleba, because a Gleba, once you switch it on, it basically just forever continues to produce. There is nothing actually being consumed on Gleba, especially because we're not doing anything related to stone or iron or copper, for that matter, even though iron and copper are renewable as well. We also switched off enemy expansion completely on Gleba with the cheesy let's go to the water so we can see it. The cheesy method of making the enemies think there is no space for an expansion. That has worked like a charm. No single expansion has crossed the line on Gleba in all of the time since we landed there until the edge of the planet. Novice is not set up like that. Novice is working on a different system, which is not completely fail-proof, and it will fail after a long time. But it still hasn't done so. I guess the main issue on Novice is the biters settling on resources over time, which has happened already. But technically, we have the achievement. We are allowed to wipe the biters from Novice, even though we didn't do so. So that's alright. I think Fulgora is looking pretty good as well. It is running on 12 trash trains, and we specifically set up all of the patches had to be pretty rich in order to be eligible for a train stop. We were just directly mining into the trains here. This one started at 22 million, it has 21 million left. 24, 22 million left. These are two patches, so that's representative, I suppose. 66 million. So yeah, we mined like 2 million, up to 2 million out of every patch, and we've got like over 20 million remaining on all of these patches. Looks like this one was the weakest, 21 to 19, so 10% of the time is gone before we need to like get more patches hooked up to the island. So this is basically gonna run for hundreds of hours still, I'm pretty sure. The only two planets which need some tending to are Aquilo, which is easy technically. We just need to hook up more lithium brine. We have consumed about 1 million at this point. And at the moment, I don't think we're actually really producing. I guess we're filling up the buffer chests here. Still. Some of them are full, but we are no longer producing 1800 SPM because we are doing the mech armor thing for only the Fulgoran science pack. So here we basically this is infinite. Fluorine will be infinite. Oil is infinite. Only the lithium brine is actually getting deduced. So as long as we keep 1800 SPM on Aquilo, we only need to connect new sources of lithium brine. We've got one over here. We've got one over here. And I guess there might be some more out there which we haven't discovered yet. But it's relatively easy, especially if there's oil nearby. We can use the oil to make a heat. And then we can use fluid trains to ship it back to the main island. We haven't been doing it with trains so far because I'm stubborn. And I just have a stupid heat network which goes all the way out. But yeah. I guess this isn't automated, so we will need to do that at some point. The main planet we need to strengthen is probably Vulcanus. I think we only hooked up an extra coal mine last time, which is actually not working now, so it might be able to run for a while as well. Okay, we're not working here because, of course, this is idle. All is idle because we are doing the mech armor technology right now. But I think Vulcanus will be the first to need resource strengthening. That means we are quite set to keep tacking at about 6k SPM for a while. Yeah, which means the first thing to do is probably get the Prometheum science pack. Basically complete the entire... complete the last science pack. We have the infrastructure for it. It goes on the other side of the Aquilo belt. On this empty belt over here. We even have the requester chests for it set up already, so it will automatically start once we do it. Of course, we need to do the captive biter spawner thing. It's probably the easiest to actually build captive biter spawners for that, which we still need to research for about 3 million. But that would probably be the first thing to work on, since everything can keep chugging along. Let's first make sure every science pack becomes worth even more. We could actually, can we just make it back by falling? I thought asteroids would still spawn. Oh, if asteroids are not spawning, we can speed up a bit. And we can basically just switch off the ship once we are almost out of platforms. Let's just keep going then. Let's save here. And then we'll go in editor mode. So I just wanted to see what would it do if we had like some levels of research productivity. So let's give myself 10 levels. Okay, it does seem to go up faster than doubling every 5 levels. So now I have 10 levels of research productivity. I guess we just need to... We can probably see that here. Yeah, that would bring us from less than 6k signs a minute already to over 9.5k a minute. That is probably the biggest boost I can give myself. That means we can continue to tag along at 1800 physical science packs a minute for quite a while, just slowly chipping away at infinite research productivity and increasing science per minute like that. That's probably the way to go. We do need to double this then in that case. We do have the space for that. We don't have the... Probably maybe just flip it in that case. We just have to then loop these belts around to the back in here, and we can do Prometheum science at full speed as well. Because I don't want to run at half speed. It's pretty annoying that science pack is 120 minutes. So let's take that further then. Where is the infinite science pack? 7 million. We are of course researching faster. Let's say 7.4 million divided by 9500 SPM or something is that is a lot of time, isn't it? That's like 13 hours to get the next level. Yeah, almost flat 13 hours to get one more level. That's a pretty significant investment, isn't it? That is only for this level. If we just go back all the way to the start, it's 1.2, 2.6, 3, 4.3, 6.3, 8.7, 10.7, 11.6, 15, let's say 15, 19, 24, 36 million or something to get to even get to level 10. That is 63 hours at the end speed. I guess we are gonna be... We have the current signs per minute. It's gonna be the average of that. That means it's like 78 hours of research to get from 6k SPM to 9k SPM if we research 10 levels of research productivity. Those are some serious numbers we're looking at. And it's not like I can easily improve signs per minute any other way, because it requires all 12 science packs to research, and all of them are exactly tailored to be producing 1800 signs per minute. I guess technically we could alternate between infinite sciences. This uses all science packs in the book though, so let's say we do plastic productivity, that requires only Gleben science pack, and then we do LDS, which only has Vulcan science pack, and then blue chips, which is Volgora. So we could just increase the base science pack, red, green, blue, purple, and I suppose it's like yellow is not even in there. Is purple in all of the infinite tags? Yeah, it looks like purple is in there. Yellow is actually almost in none of those. So it looks like if we double red, green and blue, it should be easy. Purple is a little bit harder, but not that much. We could then alternate text and research twice as fast with our doubled base signs per minute, and just only sometimes using the EM pack, the Aquilo pack, and just stash them up in the meantime. I'm not sure though. We probably need to... I don't know how that would go. I think we would need to do everything. Let's go back to the actual progress. I think, yeah, if we continue the first tech we're gonna get after Mech Armor is gonna be the Fast Inserter. We have earned it, haven't we? If we continue to a Mega Base stage, we do need to worry about UPS. We haven't had to worry about UPS the entire time. In fact, it looks like I can still run the game at about double speed. With all the planets chugging along. I guess some of them are idle at this point, because we're researching a tech that doesn't use all of the science packs. But we're gonna run into UPS problems at some point, and if we drop below 60, the game is gonna run slower. So while it was never a worry for the main playthrough in the Mega Base stage, we're gonna have to worry about it. So we need fast inserters, since inserters are the most expensive thing, not individual, but as a whole. Everything uses inserters, and basically if an inserter swings faster, it uses less time, less update time, and also if it grabs more items at a time than one, it uses less update time, and so on and so on. So we're gonna be needing that to seriously contemplate continuing. What's the total amount of science produced? So we have progressed 53 million science packs through all the tags. The physical science pack, we're at 35 million red and green. I guess we can do 1000 hours. We can see the graph a little. Let's switch that off. So 35 million red and green, 28 million chemicals, 17 million space signs. About 10 million military signs. We have produced more but not yet consumed 10 million. And the rest is between 6 and 9 million The M science hasn't been used almost at all, except for the mech armor now. So that is only at 3.6 million, and then Aquila is at 1.3. Gleba is at 7.7 million consumed against 12 million produced, because of course, if you look at Gleba individually, we always produce 2600 SPM, but we only consume when we are researching. So in general, this has been the science graph for the last half of the playthrough. 1k SPM for the first 250 hours. Once we got back to Vulcanus, we went 2k SPM and have been running that for until we got Biolabs basically. After Gleba, here is Gleba entering at 2600 SPM production rate due to the spoilage. And soon after we got the Biolabs, that was the B line we did after Gleba. And that really pushed up the actual science rate from 2124 to 5904 on the same 1800 physical science packs. So yeah, the Biolabs was definitely the power spike in this. No, it's not true. The foundries and big mining drills, but mostly foundries. Foundries are the biggest resource discount you can get in the entire game, even more so than Biolabs. If I had to choose between Foundries and Biolabs, it would have been Foundries, because they just give you, I think they give you even more discount than Biolabs, and it's not even close with the stacking discounts and the productivity and the innate productivity and the recipes built in itself. It's incredible. Do I think I'll change? I didn't think yet about how I'll play normal Factorio. Because playing normal Factorio is gonna feel weird. I'm now used to this tech pace, but every tech being a multi-hour investment basically. But then again, when you play not 1000 times science cost, you are building smaller bases. You are not going to be doing 1800 SPM just to get started, for example, or 900 SPM. I built approximately 20 times bigger than I would in a normal game, going for 900 SPM early on, whereas normally I would do like 45. So 45 is basically the standard the standard 5 Mark II assemblers. That gives 45 SPM without modules, and then you get 6 for green, etc. That's what I usually start out with. It also seems to be balanced, the early patches, to around this value, and you can usually keep that up with resources. And even at this rate, you're still going to you're still going through technology faster than you can build your base. At least that's my experience. We build about 20 times bigger, which means the game is about 50 times slower in terms of tech pace. But then again, because I had to build bigger, a lot bigger, and because I had to do all the weird strategies, like for instance, grabbing, I probably have the mining patches still built up somewhere. Where were they again? Just give me a sec. Yeah, these were the old iron mines, the green science iron mines. There's one more over here. The mining drills are gone because they were rare. The belts have been repurposed to plastic. But that used to ship iron into the base, and it goes around on like a 4,000 tile journey, and it ended up over here. So it went from here to here, all the way around, because we had to do the thing where we kept the decoy biter expansion chunks open for the biter expansion rate to slow down enough to make it through the game without getting overrun by biter expansion. The biter expansion was the main headache of the run. Getting around biter expansion in a game this long is not an insignificant feat, and it was the main problem early on. But yeah, so we tacked through the game 50 times slower because we built 20 times bigger, and then the building itself was, because it was 20 times bigger, I guess it took nearly 20 times as much time, maybe more, maybe less. But yeah, then if you count like that, it's only actually about 2 to 2.5 times slower than a normal game if you have the amount of building you need to do against the tech pace you're going. So I guess that kind of explains why I was still struggling to keep up with tech pace in the early game even. All the way through a pretty large portion of the game I was fighting to keep researching useful things. It didn't really help that I upgraded to 1800 SPM as soon as I could. Basically we just went to Vulcanus for the first planet, sniped 50k tungsten from under Jimmy's nose over here. He's still defending it. He doesn't know we took 50k, he was busy destroying pipes or whatever over here. We just got our foundries and big mining drills, went back to Norvis and upgraded Norvis to 1800 SPM before building purple signs, before building yellow signs, before building up any planet. And then I was fighting to keep useful research going at 1800 SPM, while we also had to colonize all the planets and whatnot. So basically deviating then to the question, could this playthrough have gone much faster? I would say if we exclude the first 90 hours of the game, let's just save another one, because why not? Okay, we are 60k in. Let's quickly check the platform count. 2000 platforms left. 40k still to go. The asteroids should start thinning out, although it isn't really looking like it. One of these guys destroys 42. And it looks like we're going slow enough to not blow up at least 40 platforms. That's nice. It doesn't really look like the asteroid spawn rate is slowing down much yet, to be honest. I don't actually need to load the game. I copied back all the save files from my external disks. I have got 3000 save files in here, for those of you wanted to know about that. I have a free scrolling scroll wheel, so just look at the scrolling through all the save games. Alright. 80 hours, I think around 3... this is the save game which marked the end of the fighting, 337. 92 hours in the game before we stopped fighting biters. I think before that there is a lot of improvements to be done. I think after that, after the 90-hour mark I played pretty well. Or I played pretty optimal for quite a while. Like mentioned, we had 1k SPM. The moment we unlocked the first planet, which was Vulcanus, we went there, got the foundries, got back, doubled SPM to 1800 with the foundries. Then we went around doing the other planets at 1800 SPM. And well, maybe we could have set up... I'm not sure. I think around the Biolab era... I'm thinking, could I have done more than 1800 SPM after that switch? So this was Vulcanus basically, coming back, doing the foundries, rebuilding for 2k SPM, staying there all the time. Then setting up signs on Vulcanus, including purple signs. Then on Gleba. Did we go first to Gleba? I think we set up signs on Fulgora last, didn't we? Man, it's good I have 3000 save files, because editing Mike, trusting his memory would be very bad. EM signs and Glabber signs. Yeah, okay, we did go to Glabber first. The thing is, I don't really think I could have set up EM signs bigger than I have. 1800 SPM was already stretching it quite a bit. We've got the giant spider network with 12 trains, man. Holy moly. That is a lot of scrap throughput to get the amount of holmium we need and the amount of batteries we need to produce EM signs at 1800 SPM. And the only reason we're doing that, I had originally planned to set up Fulgora at 900 SPM, but then we got the Mark III productivity module, which meant we could feasibly upgrade the base to 1800 SPM without requiring that much more production. But still, that means we cannot really do much better here, because we're already going maximum Mark III productivity on everything. And we still need 12 effing trains to bring in the scrap to get us there, which is pretty harsh. Then again, we could not really have come to Fulgora earlier either, because we needed Vulcanus to get the foundries for Navis. Then we needed Glabber to get the Mark III productivity modules and the biolabs. But yeah, we needed productivity modules. Then only then we could do Fulgora with the Mark III productivity modules. So we couldn't really have gone here ahead of time, set up Fulgoran signs and started stashing it, because we would have been producing at a much lower rate, already wasting a lot of the resources. So maybe it would have been fairly easy to set up Glabber at a higher rate. But yeah, you know, if you set up signs at a higher rate, you're going to be spending more time building, which means you have twice less time. First of all, you spend more time building and you spend less time teching, which means you run out of useful things to research. And I've been feeling I've been pushing up against my limit. So maybe somebody who builds faster and gets less sidetracked could do more. I don't think I could have gone much faster after the 90-hour mark. Although maybe 2700 SPM would have been still feasible, especially since we designed Vulcanus and Glabber and Navis, for a matter of fact. We designed all of those around Mark II productivity modules, because at the time we thought that was the maximum obtainable. To clarify, the Mark III productivity technology is hidden behind Glabber, 300k and 1 million for captivity. So that is 1.3 million signs, and originally captivity is not... I thought it was not in the list on the way to unlocking the solar system edge, but it actually is, which means productivity module Mark III is now only a 300k deviation, which kind of made it a no-brainer to get it. It's also the first time I dealt with Byterex, which probably also helped with me just limiting myself to Mark II productivity modules. But yeah, if we redesign this to Mark III, we need less base resources. We could probably turn these bells of base resources almost into 2700 SPM just by upgrading all the modules and all the machinery and redoing the speed beacons and whatnot, because that stacks multiplicatively. So maybe it's possible going 2700 SPM at some point. But yeah, let's talk about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room being, I like how 250 hours doesn't cover the whole graph. No man, that is way too much time for a single Factorio playthrough. I mean, this is on par with your... I think this is more time than your C block playthrough, right? The bean-based thing. I think it's less time than a Pianodon's playthrough though. I saw a guy without many subscribers. He uploaded like a 15-minute Pianodon going over the first 300 hours. I think it was CAD, or I cannot remember. CAT. If you have seen it in chat, please plop the name down. I think he had like 1300 hours to complete the entire playthrough or something like that. There is a speedrun in 230 hours. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we did do the graveyard. Let's go over to Vulcanus. We did complete the graveyard. Here are the 4 sizes of the demolisher corpses. We got the small one down here, the medium one, the big one, and the behemoth one, which is significantly larger. Let's talk about the elephant in the room in terms of game progress. So I have had a very big 30-hour fighting session on Norvese where I used my gun turrets with red ammo to take out biters all the way around Norvese, to claim the last of the resources we would need to get off of the planet. All of the nests we couldn't get earlier, like these guys, these were done with gun turrets and red ammo. These 3 nests unlocked this iron patch, which we never... Oh, we did use it, alright. And this oil patch, and we even went down here. I think we spent like... We brought over... This was the nest where we brought over like... yeah, was this one. 6 inventories full of red ammo, like 24,000 or something. 48,000. I already forgot the values. But it was 6 full inventories of red ammo stashed around gun turreting. It took like more than an hour to do a single battle of these guys over here. And I didn't even show these ones, but this nest was huge as well. This nest was huge as well. Double nest. All of these took like over an hour to complete. Just to get some more resources. I still have these numbers over here. So originally I figured I need 7.5 million red and green signs, 4.15 million blue signs, and I did need that to unlock Vulcanus. That is the total tech cost to get to Vulcanus, or to get to the first planet at least, any one of them. And that required the 100 million iron and 50 million copper before discounts. In the end we would need about, I guess, about 70 to 80 million iron minimum, because we're not going to get all of the discounts. And about 40 million copper. I think that those are the values used also to build the base and whatnot, which is not free. It is severely reduced in cost compared to the tech, but since the base has to be so big, the base building cost is not entirely free, especially for the rare quality items we tried to get. So that is the reason why we did the entire second gun turret battles, destroying all of the... Well, not destroying, we still had to get the keeping your hands clean achievement. But to get the final resources up there, so that we controlled enough to get off of the planet, required that 30-hour fighting session. Also, I wasn't really sure how well this was gonna work. This was not blocked off in the early game, and we were just stealth mining this basically next to this opened up biter base. The only thing we walled off this one, because this one was one chunk more close by than these ones. We walled off this single one, but these ones were just alive. We just relied on the forest to absorb the pollution, and we mined this for like 100 hours or something, with just extracting 2 yellow bells of iron for the entire game. I wasn't sure how well that was going to work, bringing the distant resources in. So in the end, I did significantly overinvest in securing resources, even to get all of the resources I would need to get to Vulcanus. But as you might realize by now, did we really need to claim all resources to get to Vulcanus in the early game? And after figuring out, as you saw in the latest episode, perhaps, after you saw how well the laser turret strategy worked, we might not need that many resources up front. We could just not beeline Vulcanus, instead beeline laser turrets, and use those to claim the missing resources to get to Vulcanus in a later fight. It's still gonna take time, but not 30 hours worth of time. It's not gonna take an hour to do each fight. It's not gonna take an hour to bring over the resources for each fight. Since laser turrets don't need ammo, we don't need 6 inventories of ammo. Of course, you do need a lot more infrastructure to do lasers. We would need accumulators, a large amount of them, like we built in the actual playthrough. We've got lots and lots of those accumulator fields all over the place. So that's 1, 2, 3 fields, and we got a 4th field down here. Those are the 10,000 we built, I think. Yeah, I don't know how well a hard beeline would work and how many resources you would need for that. But if this challenge would be in any way possible on that world, that would be the way to go, because on that world there's no way you're claiming enough resources for anything really. I don't think it's possible to do that world. I think you'd be hard pressed to to even research gun turrets without getting overrun, to be honest. Just researching the first technology you need to fight back. The problem with that world is not only do biters spawn, so the problem with that world is mainly the pollution. That is the problem with that world. Pollution absorption from terrain is halved, which means it spreads out much faster. Your pollution cloud is going to be twice the size pretty quickly. And to add to that, the bases which are going to spawn are going to be both more numerous, they're going to be bigger, they're going to be more numerous, and your starting area is reduced in size. And those factors combined makes... How are you going to get 20,000 iron from burner mining drills and 10,000 copper from burner mining drills before you can even make gun turrets? How are you gonna defend yourself? You can't. You don't have military, you don't have gun turrets, you don't have a machine gun, you don't have a heavy armor, you just have a pistol. And you don't have steel axe, so you cannot quickly deconstruct stuff. It is gonna be so hard to do that, man. Alright, 80,000. The ship is still rebuilding itself. We're down to... I think we're gonna make it. We had 2,000 platforms left at 60,000 kilometers. We spent half of those to go up 20k up to 80k. And now we just need 20k more to get to Aquilo. It does look like we're gonna make it. Surprisingly, it's good because I'm actually physically on board. And I did bring my super expensive armor for some reason. I don't know why I did that. I was not going to get out of the spaceship, and it was likely to get destroyed on the way back. So I guess it's good that that we're getting back then. Hardly spend any power. Fusion power is OP, man. Does look like the spawn rate is going down now. Oh yeah, these are the big asteroids. We're looking at the huge ones. I know, we're looking at the big ones. We are... Where are we? We are here. Big asteroid. Ah yeah, we're looking at the huge ones. The huge ones are phasing out already. They are at a pretty low spawn. The big ones we can deal with. These are big ones. So those we can deal with. It is the huge ones which are penetrating the platform. Pretty sweet. So yeah, I think the strategy to go faster in the early game would be, first of all, I think we should reload a couple saves from the early game. Let's save once more. We're at 80k basically. 80k back. We're gonna make it. This ship is so stupid. Yes. I cannot argue with that. This ship indeed is very stupid. Alright, so let's just look over. I think I have a curated version in here where I just I got my burner set up after 20 minutes. We got Gunter at about 1 hour 40 minutes in, which is about as fast as we could do it, I think. Let's just load. I think we'll sort them the other way. We can actually just override this save. So we stay in here. Look at me handcrafting my assemblers, man. That was just 20 minutes into the game. We need to go a bit further. Let's go to where gun turrets is almost done. Okay, let's take a look at the map here. Alright, so this is my pollution cloud just to get the research gun turrets. This is a pretty forested map, and this map is pretty generous with the distant the biter bases are away. So on that world there would be, these biter bases all would be bigger, and the pollution cloud would be bigger as well, so we wouldn't be able to just mine at the home patches. I guess we could nomad around a bit and mine on some different patches to get gun turrets. But yeah, the biter bases would spawn more close by, and they would be bigger, and you would not be able to take them out with just your pistol, that's for sure. Alright, so what did we do? After we got gun turrets, we stopped, and we started doing the fights. Here it was still easy. It was easy because biter evolution was still under medium biters. That's going to be the second problem on that world. You can see evolution, even on default settings, consists about for half, let's call this half, 50% time and 50% pollution. How do you think that's going to look on that world, man? Evolution progression by time factor on that world is 5 times faster than it is on default settings. We would already be at above 30% evolution at this point. Because also pollution on that world contributes more than on default settings. I think it's about 33% more. Spawner kills would be the same, obviously. We would not be killing any spawners, even if we would not be going for keeping your hands clean. Killing spawners just unnecessarily pushes the evolution factor up in the early game too much. So yeah, I don't see how that would be possible. We just kept going. We did a lot of battles. You see, we went. We had gun turrets at 1 hour 40, and then we just spent this is the save where we hit the medium biter threshold. So medium biters hit at 20%. We are basically at 20% here. So that was 7 hours of combat with only small biters spawning, which are not very dangerous. In fact, the biggest threat were the medium worms. And those are much harder to fight if there's also a lot of medium biters and spitters spawning, which we would find out later. Because even at this stage, after fighting for 7 hours, we still had so many more nests to clear. Like all of these are still open to get the access to the resources. You not only need to like get rid of the biter bases next to the resource so they don't trigger on you while you're building it. You need to clear out biters around it as well so the pollution doesn't get there, because you cannot fight back against big and behemoth biters. Big biters spawning in 50% evolution on that world would be pretty... you wouldn't be able to fight them. You wouldn't be able to get red ammo in time with the damage upgrades necessary to even to be able to slowly kill them. And by that time they're going to be behemoths and they're going to be downright impossible to kill. So you have to keep your pollution cloud off of the biters, which means you need to clear out a lot more terrain around the resources you actually want to use later on. So that was 7 hours of fighting to hit mediums. I think then we did fight until 36 hours into the game. That's not true. We did fight until about 16 hours into the game. We spent another 20 hours to stop placing pipes and start placing pipes. I think all of this still has to be done. So we did the magic border, the magic double pipe border, which basically stops expansions from happening completely by virtue of having that 10 chunk wide border around your base due to the double pipe wall, which basically that is what makes this section not suitable for expansion. So normally it looks like this, the biters will just expand there and then expand further into your base. But like this, they won't expand there, because there are better places to expand. And as long as you have a significant amount of green circles, it is extremely unlikely that a deep red circle will get selected. So that was our initial expansion blocker. You can see the expansion is happening right here at the moment. The circle is blinking, the bases are being built, which turns this red. So the reason we needed to protect these chunks is to make sure that these sometimes get selected, but the biters think that's too far to walk to, as explained in my earlier videos. But every time a chunk here gets selected, a one over here is skipped. If you don't have this, all the expansions happen out here and all of this area will turn red. And then these chunks will start getting selected for expansion. And biters will get into your base over the course of hundreds of hours. That's easily gonna happen. And you won't be able to get to the end. So all of this still needs to be done. This area, I was talking about default settings again. This area was still fine. Then we went on a big exploration mission, which was also fine, I think. So here we are, 20 hours into the game. Then we went on a 7-hour walk, basically exploring the entire map. I think we still need to do that. And then comes the questionable part, I think. All of this time we were not researching. So here we are, after the walk, we are 27 hours in. I think we still need to protect resources as well, but maybe not as big as we did it. So here we are 36 hours in. That is the save where we started researching electric mining drill finally. 36 hours into the game. The only tech we have right now is gun turret for 10k and automation for 10 flat. And these trigger technologies, which are not really technologies. So what did we do now? We basically walked around the entire map as far as we could go. Something else you cannot do on that world because of the nests are much denser and bigger. You won't be able to walk through all the time. You will see the decoy expansion chunks in action. Biters chose this chunk to expand to, but they can't because it is too far to walk from an existing nest. And that is protecting the rest of this to stay open for a longer time. And as long as more green chunks are open, that's better for us because expansion slows down a lot. Let's switch off the circles now. So what we did over here, I think we still should be protecting all the resources like we did over here. So this also turned chunks red around our patches, which we wanted to use later. We never used this patch at all. We never used any of these patches up here. So there's definitely some saving to be done. We did need a lot less resources in the end than we protected. But of course, we didn't know at the time how well this was going to work. Were we going to lose some of these, almost all of these over time, or none of those? In the end, it turned out we lost none of those patches we protected. This worked like a charm as well for the entire game. But then we discovered the laser turret creep strategy and we never really needed these distant resource patches. But you know, if laser turreting hadn't worked, and I think Avadi failed his first attempt to copy this challenge because he went for laser turrets and basically died because he didn't do the pre-work of making sure biter expansions don't happen as frequently, and he just was fighting a sea of biters all the time without upgrades, and that didn't work. But because we did our homework and we did do all the protecting, we actually managed to fight them off way better than we even dared to hope. But yeah, if you go in with that intention from the start, you would never need to protect all of these resources because you could claim them later. Especially if in the late game you allow yourself to actually destroy biter bases, you don't even need to worry they settle on top of a resource patch. But you know, keeping them from settling on top of a resource patch is as simple as just doing something like this, right? Basically just the 4 chunks the patch is on, do this. And all of the other pipes would not be necessary. You also don't need to protect the way home, since you can just fight the biters with laser turrets and block them off before you belt at home. You just need to make sure they don't physically settle on the patch, for which this should be enough. So we could have saved a bunch of it there. I think most of the exploring was still welcome. But in the end, you know, with getting laser turrets and like 2 shooting speed and 1 damage upgrade, we were easily able to clear off all the medium worm protected area, which would net us these resources. Like that is like 21 million iron over here, right there in medium worm protected lands. So in the end, I don't think we should have gone beyond that much. All of the expansions which would spawn behemoth worms later on, not that threatening. As long as we don't need to fight like these nests over here with tons of big and even behemoth worms spawned naturally. Like this is hard for laser combat. It's maybe even impossible to do with without many more damage upgrades. But you know, you can claim way more resources around your starter area just by clearing out the medium protected bases. So that is where we could have gotten all of the resources in the end. Which means, yeah, we could have saved some time on exploration and some time on protecting resources for sure. Let's call that. We spent 20 hours. Let's say we could have deduct 10 hours there. It's important because all of this time we were not researching. So all of this time saved is will be actual time saved. That means we start researching more early. Then from 36 hours all the way down to... So yeah, here we started researching mining drill. We went building a red science base quite quickly. And then green science. I don't think more than 900 SPM was feasible at this point. It took me forever to set up green science, man. All those resources, all that mining. So we went... here we started... I guess at 54 hours or so, we started preparing for the second battle. Automating red ammo and walls. Until 83% evolution, where we did automate walls and red ammo. If we don't have a red ammo battle, would we have a red ammo battle? Let's take a look at the beginning of this phase. So here we have red and green signs up at 900 SPM. Plus we invested like 5 or 6 hours to automate walls and red ammo. We had to set up new ore patches for those, that's why it took so long. So we have a stone patch over here and the copper mine. And again, look at that pollution. We don't have efficiency modules yet because, you know, it's 1000 times science cost. So this would spread twice as far on that world. It's not possible, man. It's not possible. So yeah, these resources are purely for red ammo. Actually, it's funny. These resources were for red ammo and walls, but red ammo was still more expensive when I did this. I guess this already is the new recipe now, since we have the updated version. But back when we were playing this, red ammo still cost 5 copper and 1 steel per piece. Now it costs 2 copper and 1 steel per pair. So that is a significant resource saving there. That might make the red ammo battle stage more worth it again, who knows. Let's just check the ore situation here. I think we definitely have more than enough resources to unlock laser turrets here. So we need like 4 million, right? Like we need 4 million signs to unlock Vulcanus. That was the initial benchmark. That was 4 million signs. It's most of that is like Vulcanus itself, the rocket silo, which is another million, and thrusters. That's 2.5 million beyond this point. And then you got, I guess, blue chips, rocket fuel, LDS is another million or so, logistics bots. So that's like 3.5 million. Of course, laser turrets is not in here. What would you need to pull off laser turrets? How much blue signs? Let's say you need laser turrets for 150k, plus the first 2 shooting speed upgrades, that's another 150. That's 300k, that's 400k 1 damage upgrade, that seems reasonable. You do need the bots. I did have the power armor, I don't know if the modular armor would be feasible. I think the power armor would be much desirable, but that means 500k because blue chips need to be researched as well. Okay, the power armor is 500k. If it's the modular armor, if that's feasible, we can skip that. But we do need bots. We do need bots. So construction bots and the personal roboport. 50k, 150k, 225, 275, 325, 400k. So that's 400k to get the personal roboport. I would argue you also need the first 2 levels of bot speed upgrades, to be honest. They're pretty cheap at 50k and 100k, and they help a lot against bots getting sniped from worms and getting the laser turrets down fast enough, especially against the armies of behemoth biters you will be fighting at that point. There's no way to avoid getting to behemoth biters before you have lasers. We barely got there with gun turrets and red ammo. It is 10 million signs. Sorry, 1 million signs. No, 10 million, right? Yeah, it's 10 million red and green signs to unlock behemoths. By itself, if nothing else was a factor. But obviously time is a little bit of a factor. So, but let's call that like 1.5 million blue signs. 1 or 1.5 million. That's less than half of the resource. That's still actually a lot. That's still a lot of resources. From 4.15 million to 1.5 million. We would need less for the other science packs as well. That's still like 40 million iron maybe. 30 or 40 million iron to get there. It's still a lot. 10, 15. This we cannot really mine. Because of... maybe we can mine that with efficiency. We do have enough iron though, I think. Okay, 10 million. Let's just count. We can mine this with efficiency is 15. 17, 22, 24, 30. I think we just about have enough iron under our control to be able to get to laser turrets without doing the second combat round. We could skip that entirely. I'm not sure how the copper situation is, but the first 3 science packs require mostly iron. Even blue science is still 12 iron against 7.5 copper. The red chips require more copper than iron, but the engines are 9 iron by themselves per engine. That is where the 12 comes from mostly. So we have a total copper cost of 10. It's 10 copper against about 20 iron. So we would need 20 million copper. Got 6.5, 10, 12. Yeah, we don't have enough copper, do we? Yeah, we don't have enough copper to make it all the way. This is not mineable. That's too close to the biters, even with efficiency modules, I think. We might be able to mine that slowly. This is also too close to the biters to mine, so that one doesn't count. I guess I control 15 million copper. Yeah, okay, I should have looked at these numbers. 15 million copper, 52 million iron at this point before starting the red ammo phase. And 1 million blue science packs are 7.5 million copper. No, that's actually 10 million copper with red and green in there as well. That's 10 million copper for 1 million. So 15 million is basically the exact amount we need to get to 1.5 million science packs. But then, of course, we also need a lot of red green still to get all the prerequisites for blue science, like oil and whatnot. That's a couple million in there as well. I guess if we count, we can like mine like half a belt from here. Maybe we can get that done. We could like mine in this. We could mine in this chunk down here. Just put miners here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this one is on 4. Is Yeah, this one is in this chunk, unfortunately. So we could like mine like half a belt of copper from this patch. We would be able to sneak our way there. Not in a very glorious fashion, but I think we would be able to do that. We could also mine like half a belt maybe from this patch then, so I guess we could get it done. We could get it done. I mean, we still could do the strategy where we just mine from a distant ore patch, like this 24 million patch, and belt it all the way home like we did in the actual playthrough. But that does require us to do the full 20 hours of exploring and protecting again. We might just be able to find a better seed, which has more resources in a smaller area. I know, I think this seed turned out pretty well. With we have a lot of iron, less copper, but we need more iron than copper. And some of these water patches are located at a pretty convenient area, I would say. But then again, I'm kinda attached to the seed now because I played on it for a full year. So yeah, I don't know. But let's say we could skip the entire second combat phase and at least half of the exploration phase. That would make me ready to start going. We stopped tacking here as well. We stopped tacking entirely because we needed to do the red ammo stage before behemoth biters turned around. That is not the right save. Around 337, but slightly before it. We had like 4 or 5 streams just fighting biters from begin to end, basically. I just load somewhere. The series will catch up. I mean, the series is going to catch up because the playthrough is finished. And if we go mega base, there's not going to be that much stuff to tell for huge investments of time. So yeah, we claimed this 4 million iron and we never used it. Spent a lot of time too, taking down these guys, these guys, these guys. I guess we are gonna take down these guys still. I think we took down this entire band over here as well. With magazines. We already put the miners into place so that we could belt it out without spawning any biters. So yeah. We haven't been tacking here for quite a while. Yeah, 33 hours of not tacking stuff. So this was basically between 36 and 60 hours. We had 24 hours of researching stuff. And then we had to stop research because if we didn't stop research, pollution would easily push us into into behemoth biters. And then we cannot fight biters anymore because behemoth biters are unkillable for our damage upgraded. We never got shooting speed, but for a damage upgrade 2, which this is basically 20%. This tag by itself is 20% of the pollution generated towards behemoth biters. 200k right here. 200k red green signs is 20% of the pollution allotment for behemoth biters. So that kind of illustrates the point of not being able to get laser turrets before behemoth biters, before deep into behemoth biters for sure. Yeah, we could have skipped all of that. I think we would have been able to save 40 hours. Just accept the resources that we have and just hard beeline for laser turrets. We still would need to get all the prerequisites for blue signs like we're doing here and some of the pollution reduction stuff. We did build Johnny's solar shop here. okay, my armor is way less strong against the acid here. Yeah, fun times. So yeah, let's say we could have started attacking. Perhaps 30 to 40 hours earlier. And in the end, I don't think we ended up... Let's go back to the actual game. I don't think we ended up spending that much time on text we didn't need. We could look at the tech tree a little bit. Let me read back to chat a bit, because despite me saying I'm going to be so interactive, I haven't read chat for a while. Will you finish this playthrough by researching fast and service? I think it's going to be researched after the mech armor. We can get that. I think I'm not going to research it yet though. But it's still 1 hour. We can wait. I don't think we're going to research it yet. I think if I want to continue the playthrough, I'm going to want to start by researching fast and service at that point in time. Any ideas for next run? Not really. So of course some thoughts have crossed my mind, but I don't really have plans just yet. Why are the bases in my games so small compared to these? Like the player bases or the biter bases? If it's the biter bases, my map is just huge and I'm very far out. This is like 2 kilometers away from spawn or something. Yeah, like over 1200 and 1600 tiles away from spawn right there. So even on default settings, the bases eventually get huge like this. And especially with the biter expansion sprinkled in. So we still got like blankets of biter expansions, but not as blanketed as it could have been without the decoy expansion chunks, which we spend a lot of time investing in. I don't have many of them visible, but here we are. You need the solid center for them to actually select the chunks. How long will this stream? I have no idea. Ultimate Dead World on Glabba. I do think it is possible to go world peace on both Novice and Glabba. We might even be able to do world peace on Novice without destroying the biter bases still. I think the laser turret strategy can be automated, taking them out with a bot network and smart use of buffer chests to make sure all the stuff is on site. Just expand your bot network out. That will not generate new chunks. So we could again go make a border. We could just take the current explored map as the maximum where I have been, and then count 20 chunks from that. It should still work the same. On Glabba, I suppose I haven't experimented much with how to efficiently destroy the Glabban biters. I suppose it would kind of work the same. Don't see that many expansions on Glabba, but I suppose not all the terrain is eligible for expansions. Okay, there are plenty of them actually. I think those are all expansions. The bases here already started to be bigger. I think the 20 chunk generation stuff would work the same. Actually, we can do that right now. Let's see what kind of terrain is generated everywhere. So again, we'll go in editor mode. We don't need to go in editor mode actually, but we will still be... Okay, I cannot zoom out further than this, I'm sorry. I think I have the command, chart all. This is the amount of terrain that has been actually generated. You can see it's just a thin border around what is actually there. But terrain does exist outside of what is mapped. Let's look on Vulcanus. So I'm at half speed, so this will go a bit slower. Oh, is this universal? Oh, it's universal. Alright, so yeah, it does look like it charts everything on every planet if I use this command. Want to see some Glabberon of some kind? Time lapse of the base. I cannot make a time lapse in retrospect. You need to set that up ahead of time with some like screenshotting app, which makes a screenshot of a fixed position every hour. But then you also already need to know where the base will go exactly. I guess I did know where the base will go. I mean, I had this stupid outline in place for the entire game, signaling that my base should fit in here, and it did in the end, so it would have been possible. Let's go to Glabba, then run the command. So this is the amount of terrain that has been physically generated on Glabba around the radar scan range, I suppose, which has scanned out toward the maximum distance. Not too much, actually. Let's peek into the void on Aquilo, just to see how rare that lithium stuff is. So we know this one, 7 million, 2 million, and 4 million, and 5 million. I think we have those. I knew about 20 million lithium. We got 8 million there. Looks like lithium brine is not really that rare. Can generate some terrain perhaps. Okay, so this will generate all the... This is 1000 tiles away from spawn. Looks like we generated approximately that much terrain. Okay, now we have a lot more lithium brine resources already. Looks like Aquilo, we will be able to get enough resources in there. This is all terrain generated on Vulcanus. Got some behemoth demolisher boys there. I guess this updates the location of those guys. Alright, let's go back to the actual game. Yeah, I'm gonna try to go back through chat again. Thanks to Rapucci for subscribing yet again for the 13th month. Expansion frequency... no, expansion, the frequency of expansion is tied to the evolution factor. At 100% it happens 15 times per hour. At 0% it happens 1 time per hour. And you progress through evolution faster on that world, which means the expansions start happening more often sooner, but you end up with the same expansion rate, and I think also the same expansion group size. So the expansion sizes would be the same on that world as well. Just the initial nests would be bigger and more numerous. And those are the ones which are difficult to fight. People want to see Glabba cold start. You can go watch Troopen's channel for that, can't you? I think he did it a couple times. Oh yeah, CAG, that was the name. Yeah, I'm scrolling back up now. CAG from the 1300 hour Pianodons run, which, you know, every time I think like, maybe I should give Pianodons a try, then I just look up one of those videos and then I think, I definitely should not give Pianodons a try. How well will railguns work on behemoth demolishers? I guess we could try that. Yeah, I got a book of weird measurements on Discord that has some of those. The radar scan range, of course this is a radar scan range of a regular radar. And we got the we got the expansion, the way biter expansions extend around the nests, which is how we got that is how we know where to place the decoy expansion chunks on the lakes over here. And we got stuff like the 20 by 20 chunk generation around the player in there. So if I wanted to be sure, I would just go, okay, this is where I have been before, let's stack Spidertron or whatever, or use some different method to get a roboport network out there. We explore 20 chunks beyond this border. That way I can be sure nothing else has been generated. And Spidertrons and bots don't generate new chunks, neither do laser turrets. Artillery turrets do though. The artillery turret shells do explore new terrain, so you gotta be careful with those. But for the rest you can exterminate the biters fully like that. People ask me, am I gonna increase the upload schedule? No, that's not gonna happen. I'm gonna be streaming different stuff and I'm already working. I work about 4 days per week on videos and about 2 to 3 days a week on streaming and research. So I'm not gonna be able to work more on videos. Because if I would be working on videos like 6 days a week, I would go mental, man. It's already quite a slog. Just 4 days a week working on the videos. And all the knowledge has to come from somewhere, so that is... I do a lot of like testing and research and all of kind of stuff next to that. And the videos are gonna get longer, I suppose. The next one, which is gonna come out, is about space platforms. That is gonna be probably 40 minutes in length or so. It's gonna take 3 weeks, I think, to get it done. I've spent 2 days to write the script, man, for the space platform video. And that is just, it still needed some refining after that. That was just the first draft of the script. Just putting it all into a logical, chronological order and explaining all the numbers and looking up all the details to make sure I've got them right. So I don't help more fake news into the world than there already is. Then I got to record the script, and my English pronunciation is alright, but I cannot really like read text, even though I written the script myself. If I read lines, I first gotta read it to myself, and I still often gotta do 20 takes before I got a good one with the right intonation and the right emphasis on the right words, and you know, all that kind of... It takes a lot of time, and then I gotta cut. I had 1 hour. I already did these steps, so 2 days to write the first draft. Then it was like, I think 4 to 5 hours of recording the voiceover. I ended up with 1 hour and 40 minutes of voiceover clips, which I then had to paste into the video editor and clip out all of the lines that were wrong and all of the mouth sounds. Like, a lot of my lines end up with like, I don't know if that's a microphone thing or just like, just because the way I speak a little bit like in my mouth more than I should or something. So that takes a lot of work to clean up as well. That 1 hour and 40 minutes of voiceover then turned into about, I've got it on now, it's about 35 minutes of voice clips. And then I need to record all of the footage, which is not just recording the footage. I don't just take most of my footage from the stream. I think that would be even a slower way to work with a stream this size. That is where all the save games come in. Then I go around and load save games close to the point where we actually are in the playthrough. And sometimes I can just take a save and record a section from it. But way more often than not, I need to set up the scene first in editor mode, in order to, especially for the explanation stuff, that requires a lot of setting up. My map view is a mess. I've got like tags all over the place, so usually what I do is I even like need to clean up some of the map tags. You will know how many times I moved this out of the way. It used to be on the starter lakes over here, just to film a map scene for one of the videos. There's so much goes into that, man. So I need to set up and film all the scenes, and then then I can finally start on the stuff which people think is all of the work, which is the editing. But before I get to that point, already like more than a week of effort went into that, just so I can get to the point where I can start editing video material into what will become the episode. So I'm at that point now. It took me like 10 days, I think, since I uploaded the last one to a Patreon, that is. I upload 1 week in front on Patreon just to keep myself sane. That helps a lot with setting the deadlines and whatnot. How much storage does all of your footage take up? My storage doesn't take up footage because of the way I edit in that way. I have not even downloaded all my streams because I am on the road a large portion of the year with a limited data plan. So I cannot just go around and download my 12 gigabyte streams after the fact all of the time. But yeah, since I have 3,000 save games, which I guess you could call that my footage, that is about, I don't even know, we could take a look. Did I go in editor mode? I did go in editor mode, didn't I? Let's just load back here. I'll just go look. People have asked me that as well. How many gigabytes of save games do I have? So let's find out. So let me just alt tab out. I did put all of the save games in my folder for this stream specifically. I usually have most of them on an external disk, because I either have my save games on here or I have space to record footage, but I cannot have both at the same time. 3022 items in the save game folder. That's only the main folder. Properties. That's actually not too bad. It's only 230 gigabytes of save games. I guess they only started ballooning out of control. Let's say all of my save games after Gleba. I guess Gleba's quite big. They were 140 megabytes each. Around the Vulcanus time, they were 90 megabytes each. And around the Novus time, they were about 50 megabytes each after exploring everything. So that's not too bad, actually. Okay, let's go back through the chat windows. Pianodon, yeah, I know Obsolete is trying to talk me into doing Pianodons. Alright, I caught up with Twitch side. You could beeline to landmines. It doesn't really seem feasible to... You have the same problem like flamethrower turrets. You cannot selectively
destroy biters and worms, but not biter bases with landmines or flamethrower turrets. You can destroy worms with poison capsules, but that already requires military tree as well, which is also blue signs, and it doesn't help you against the biters and spitters. Behemoth biters and spitters are practically immune to poison because they move. They don't stay in your poison cloud very well, and they just come and kill you. I do wonder how far I would get. I think I will do that next week. I will find a good map to play that world. And just let's just see how fast we die there. Let's first see if we even can get to gun turrets. I'm gonna imagine if we get to gun turrets at all, we already will be swimming in medium biters before we even can go on the first fight, since we were at like 11 or 12% evolution on default settings already when we started the first fight with gun turrets. So we could have a laugh just to see how impossible it actually is. God, I hope I'm not wrong about this. If I'm wrong about this, we might have another year of doing this in front. It's not gonna happen, okay? It's impossible. It's impossible. We haven't got Prometheum science, no. I think, yeah. So the problem is we're actually going to be consuming a lot of ore patches and resources on our way to, if we go mega base. It's not like we can tag all the infinite tags quickly and make it so that, how you see it in the other popular mega bases like Colonel Will and I think what's his name again? The technical guy with the mega base stuff, who also, I forgot his name. How can I forget his name? It's right there on the tip of my tongue. A-Buck Nasty, there it is. Yeah, that guy. But those guys have mega bases where basically you don't really mine ore patches up anymore. You have so much mining productivity and so much research productivity and so much everything else productivity in your entire base. I think someone in Colonel Will's stream at some point calculated it would take something like 33 rocket launches to get one copper patch on a planet to go down one copper ore in reserves. So this 1.8 million copper patch would go to, if it's exactly 1.8 million, it would go to 1,799,999 after like 30 rocket launches or something like that. So at some point the resources are just gonna stay. They're just not gonna run out anymore. Is what it seems like to me, at least. But we're not gonna have that because we need 1,000 times more science packs to get to that point, which means we're gonna have to expand and move mining patches a lot. Which is why I don't really want to go mega base here, because we're not realistically gonna be building more science anytime soon. We're gonna be building Prometheum science, which will be an interesting challenge, I guess, to get to 1800 SPM. How do you even do that? I have no idea how to count SPM for Prometheum science with the biter stuff and whatnot. Yeah, I guess it's just biter egg production facility times how long a round trip takes with a ship, with some finer details in there. But after that, what we'll be doing then will mostly be like we'll mostly be taking out biters, adding more patches. Forgora is fine though. Gleba is fine. Aquilo will be needing to add some more patches as well, but that is the least work. Aquilo is fairly simple when it comes to that. Before we would actually start to produce more SPM. Yeah, I don't think we'll be needing fast inserters anytime soon, to be honest. I don't think we would be needing fast inserter anytime soon. I guess we gotta keep it in the queue. Should we be going to Norvis with our ship? I guess we should be going to Norvis. We should go to Fulgora to make the mech armor, I suppose. I think we made it actually. Easy. We still have 787 space platforms left. We took 20,000. We got that pretty thin, man. Holy moly. I guess we just would have gone faster if we had more space platforms left. We just, this is our production rate right now. We're now just, we have 2 of these inserters sometimes holding something. And when exactly one inserter is holding something, we are producing. Normally we would be going at this speed, where it only checks one inserter if it's holding something. It's producing much more often. We would be flying much faster. I think we can start flying faster again, since we are almost out of the huge asteroid territory. We should be able to make it now. I think we made it. Let's save. I think I would not mind starting at Pianodon's run and just getting like maybe the first or the first 2 science packs just to get a just a tips here, just a tip, and only for a minute. I don't think it's going to be only for a minute though. I think getting the second science pack in Pianodon is already like way more complex than the entire Space Age game, basically. The thing is, it might just hook me in, and I don't really want that. I don't think I want to get hooked in by Pianodons. We're looking at a 3-year run then. This took me 1 year. And if that guy does it in 1300 hours, that's basically almost 3 times as long. So, not really sure that's a good plan. Right, now we have gravity working against us again. For the first time in a while. I guess we should just flick this off and have them produce at all times. Not yet add the speed modules in, I think. We still need to defend against the huge asteroids. We could do that with space platforms as well, but we have laser turrets there, so let's just plop those in. Hundreds of small amounts of parts, 14 ingredient recipes. Yeah, like that stuff. Yeah, that's like more different recipes than I need to do all the science packs in Space Age just to get one science. It's a different kind of fun, I suppose. Yeah, 10,000 times science cost with default settings is not doable.
I think 1000 is pretty close to the actual limit which is possible on default settings. Well, you know, if you go laser turrets with a beeline on default settings, maybe that changes things a lot. You get you could no longer really do a red ammo. You could no longer really do red ammo battles if it's like 2k SPM, 2000 times science cost, which means you cannot claim that many resources more. But you could still do the exploration and protect the path towards distant resources and mine those like we did in the actual game after efficiency modules. So you would still have access to a lot of resources. I would say the limit would lay around 2500 times science cost or so to be able to beat default settings. I think once you go beyond that, everything becomes too slow. You get to gun turrets too late. So you need to start fighting medium biters from the get-go, even on default settings. And then getting electric mining drill with burner miners gets you past big biters by itself. Then you just need to beeline your way to laser turrets with the resources and land you have. So basically you need to be able to get to laser turrets with the amount of resources you are able to protect in the early game. Sounds about right. I think 2500 times science cost is about the amount of resources we did protect. Excluding the red ammo phase, but including the exploration and remote protection stuff. And you might need to go at a lower SPM, since you cannot extract from the distant resource patches at the maximum rate without polluting the biters there. I don't know what the maximum would be on that world. I haven't really thought about it that much yet. I don't think, I would not be doing Prometheum science on a laser ship. Could you even do that? Maybe I would. Could you even do that? I mean, we wouldn't be able to destroy the ones coming in from the front. We would definitely be able to destroy double health Prometheum asteroids coming in from the side. And grab the chunks along the side over here. It would be a lot slower. Oh wait, we have the bite. Oh, we have the biter egg spoilage rate to deal with in that case. But you know how we wouldn't have the biter egg spoil rate to deal with? Don't know if I have the blueprint, my blueprint book. Yeah, we do. We could build something with a handle like this and the belt storage on there and actually do the thing which I did in that cursed belt weaving video, which is bring Prometheum asteroids back to Norvis and then just produce Prometheum signs there. Not very efficient, I don't think. I think the best way is to produce Prometheum signs out in the field. But if we limit ourselves to laser turrets, then I don't think we can harvest it fast enough to have the biter eggs not spoil, since we also need to fly out to the solar system edge every time with a laser turret ship. Yeah, that means that cannot be done. We need to go 30 kilometers a second, 35 or something like that to crush all the... to not die, basically, on the way to the solar system edge. So we would need to bring the Prometheum asteroids to Norvis in that case. That would just make this entire challenge even more stupid not really compatible with 1000 times science cost, I would say. Yeah, we would need railguns to do that. We could still do the laser turrets to clean up though after the railguns have shot down all the huge and big ones. How hard would it be to manufacture new space platforms and walls? Space platforms would be possible, but walls, there is no stone in space, so you cannot replace walls. You don't actually need the walls on there. You could just use space platforms, but I just wanted to I don't know. Okay, we're gonna get some. We can see the difference now, probably, between an asteroid. Maybe not. It's stopped immediately by just 4 walls, and it just penetrates pretty deep into the space platforms. And those space platforms, they cost 20 steel a pop, man. That is a lot of. That is a lot of damage. Actually not that bad, I must say. It doesn't really show us how many space platforms get annihilated there, but that is way more expensive. I guess the walls have a lot more hit points and a lot more impact resistance than pipes. I guess we could okay, we're not gonna test that right now. But these things have like 60% impact resistance and 45 points of flat impact resistance. I don't know how much damage the asteroids actually do. It doesn't say how much impact damage they do or something like that. But you can see that some of them destroyed like 40 to 80 walls, even at 35 kilometers a second, the huge ones. Even at 52 kilometers a second, we're not destroying the big ones fast enough with the laser turrets being so far away. That's fine though, I think we can just let it happen. Okay, we're gonna stop at Norvis because there is no other planet in there. Railgun, I think it will be difficult. Railguns is 2 million, isn't it? 2 million for railgun. You say I need damage upgrades. That's how you get 5 million, I guess. But do we need railgun damage upgrades, or are they just nice to have? I know we need railgun damage upgrades to one-shot asteroids, but we don't really need to one-shot asteroids. We just need to not die to them. 10k physical damage. Oh yeah, so it's 10,000 hit points against 10k physical damage with 3,000 resistance. Oh yeah, that's how we get there. And 10%.
So basically it's 7,000 then times 0.9. So we do 6,300 damage. That means we need about 60% damage upgrades, I think. That is how it works. Ah yeah, we get 40% from the first level. And 40% from the second level. So yeah, we need 2 levels of damage upgrades to insta-kill huge Prometheum asteroids. But we don't need to. We can just shoot twice. And it's quite possible that if we shoot the second railgun at the asteroid, it will already penetrate one or multiple other asteroids that appear on screen as well. I think 2 million should be enough for the railguns. We don't need to go at a high speed. I'm pretty sure we can go at a high enough speed to get to the solar system edge if we have railguns on board to not have the X spoil, and perhaps slow down slightly when getting into the Prometheum asteroid fields. I have never built a Prometheum ship before though, so I'm just guessing here. No, the flashlight has got a lot of lore behind it. Can you show the Aquilo ship? Aquilo Express. All the ships are pretty much the same, basically. Let's go through the ships in order then. I guess we haven't really gone through the planets either yet. Let's first go through the ships. Here's the only ship that had gun turrets, the intended way, and we never really used it. We are now just using it as a tribute. It's bringing nuclear fuel cells to Gleba every once in a blue moon. That is what we're using it for. I originally had planned to use this ship to take me to Fulgora, or I was going to go to Fulgora as the first planet. Earlier on in the journey, that was the idea. Until we figured out that foundries are actually OP, and we had to go to Vulcanus first to get those for Novice and unlock unlimited discounts everywhere. This is the only intended ship. It has a lot of... basically it produces ammo on the ship with the furnaces. It has the solar power, it has the rare machinery with some efficiency modules to keep power down. And it produces ammo pretty slowly. So we would, while the ship can fly at an okay-ish speed, we would need to wait between flights to produce enough ammo. We're basically using the hub here as a central chest from where everything goes in. The ore goes in there, the iron comes out, etc. And then the ammo is put back in here as well. This was the original version of the fuel thing. That basically stayed there, and we got rid of the fuel tanks. But this belt system and this crusher system was also used on the second ship, the laser slab calcite haulers, which we used for Vulcanus. A lot of solar panels to power a couple laser turrets. We also have laser turrets on the side, which are only enabled if the accumulators are full, and they are gonna be, or when we are traveling. When we are traveling, they are disabled, so all the power can go to the front turrets. And when we are stationary and asteroids come from the sides, they enable. Here we have a refined version of the fuel cell with an ice cube in the water tank. That's very important. It makes the water more efficient. Same crushing system, the belt, the filter feeding, throwing overboard excess asteroids.
But yeah, all the ships are the same, just the power system got upgraded. Some have cargo hubs, and then other ones have the belt weaving storage, like for the artillery shells. That was very useful. Still the same ship though, maybe more thrusters, but same fuel system. Now with blue belts. And laser turrets in the front, and the solar panels has turned into a nuclear plant. And then for the Aquilus ship, it turned into a bigger nuclear plant with cargo hubs again. Same fuel system, same laser turrets. And then for the solar system edge ship, we have even more lasers. It's basically the same ship again. Same fuel system. Less thrusters. There was a bit of fine tuning to get the optimum speeds. More laser turrets. Nuclear power upgraded to fusion reactor because it doesn't use water, which was a major problem. When you power this many laser turrets with a nuclear reactor, you just run out of water faster than you can replace it. And then we added the help of some friendly neighborhood stones to sink like an asteroid and actually just bump them to pieces. We're actually almost back to Norvis. I probably should save again. 2099. Save game 2100 will be back at Norvis. Epic. So all of the ships are basically the same thing. Now let's go over the planets real quick. And Norvis has gone through a couple iterations. I guess we should look at Norvis separately, but in the end, we got the biolabs working with the giant science bus, producing all of the Norvesian science packs except for purple science on Norvis. Military science is produced at the military science cliffs. The giant bus coming in with the science packs, Glabber science pack whenever we're researching it, which is not now. Actually, we should start bringing Glabben science back over to Norvis if we want to switch to a Glabben science pack anytime soon. And then all of the science pack ingredients on the other side here. We got the unloading hub, the science packs being made over here, ingredients I mean. And then we go to the military science cliffs, which have the stuff being produced on site now. So no longer as far away as in the edit it was the case. After the foundry upgrade, we also wanted to take advantage of the foundries for military science. Producing the science here without beacons still, just a tribute to the early game. Not everything is hyper optimized. The ore smelting is though. And that has caused both of the rebuilds. The first quality rebuild and the second clean productivity rebuild. We first went to Vulcanus. We didn't rebuild on Vulcanus. We just got our stuff and got out. When we came back, we built purple science over here with a massive steel production facility with the foundries. Steel was not the issue why we had to build purple science on Vulcanus. The issue was stone. We just don't have enough stone on Norvis to build purple science at that scale, because you don't get all the resource discounts for stone and coal like you get for iron and copper. And then the Vulcan science pack, which is produced on the other side, much smaller actually, from some tungsten and some coal. Of course we got the nice looking power plant in the lava. Between the lava, 1 gigawatt of power from 1200 sulfuric acid, which we stubbornly try to not exceed. And we are exactly in limits when everything is running. Second planet was Gleba, where we did the orbital strike, as orbital strike as you can get in Vanilla Factorio. Then we found out that was just basically way too much area for the small pollution cloud the science actually creates, but at least we got to build it in a nice scenic spot, some good farmland nearby, so the fruits travel not too far, they don't rot so much. And then we build the entire thing on the water, which looks nice. That's 2600 SPM right there. Same power plant like a Norvis. Yeah, fish-powered nuclear power plant. On Norvis it's a biter-based powered nuclear plant. Then we went to Fulgora, the monstrous. This is so much more
work to build than any of the other bases, man. It is really so much more work. This guy is still running because we are doing mech armor. We're trashing the stuff over here, doing the efficient thing, making it into hazard concrete to cut down on recycling time. It basically recycles instantly instead of taking forever. Same for steel, which goes into steel chest. I would imagine this is full by now. Okay, we are actually still making steel chests. Wrecking red chips. The rest goes, there's another half on the other side, the rest goes in here. Joins up through a normal cookie cutter blueprint book splitter, which you can find everywhere. And then it is made into signs. We also are making the rocket parts for Gleba. Basically we are not trashing rocket parts if we need them for Gleba over here. Which means we don't need to deal with any iron or copper business on Gleba. We can basically just farm trees and make signs. That doesn't involve any copper or iron. So we don't have copper or iron bacteria at all. Thanks Mr. Mehano and Redshift for the almost 2 years of subscriptions, man. And ultimately we went to Aquilo, which actually we designed fully on stream. Much of the other designs I did off stream, but Aquilo we designed fully on stream, and it has become one of the, I don't know, it has become a pretty aesthetically pleasing base as well, I must say, with the general layout over here. I quite like it. We also had the, I wonder if this base just can start up again after being backed up. We didn't test for that. It can start up again after being off, but I don't know if it will work again like this. These tanks are empty because we are still making rocket fuel is just still getting buffered everywhere. So that explains why these tanks are empty. All of the ice should be pretty much full. Water should be full. It does Aquilo basically. Not too difficult in terms of the actual science pack. It's just ice cubes and some fluids and lithium. The heat pipes routing and needing to heat up everything makes everything difficult, especially to build at scale. Thanks Vinternol as well for the 4 months. Keep redirecting that Jeff Bezos' money straight out of his pocket. Right, and that's basically all the planets and all the spaceships, I suppose. I guess we didn't cover the platforms. So I never updated the space platforms, so what you will see in the upcoming episode is what will be the entire time. We basically have the Slarty Bartfest's planet construction room from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and yes, that is going in the video, that joke, where we construct planets in this giant factory. It almost looks like it, the outline with the planet inside. Of course, we took advantage of you cannot have holes in your space platform, but that only applies for topological holes. So basically, if you leave a tiny opening in the back, you can hollow out the entire center and everything is fine. And you can even hollow out parts over here if you use long-handed inserters to bridge the one-tile gaps. Then this also, everything is just continuous. You can walk to the entire thing. There is no actual hole in the spaceship. Everything is connected. But yeah, pretty fun. We're going to get into the specifics of the space platform and why it is this shape and size in the upcoming video. It's pretty technical.
Yeah, if you try to do that, I don't. That's probably as not a serious comment, but I'll adhere anyway. Oh, that was not great. If I try to deconstruct this, the game won't let me. It's just gonna stay. You cannot make a hole in the middle of your spaceship. So it's gotta be. All of the space has got to be connected to itself. That's basically the rule. Space has got to be connected to all other space on the ship, which is why this works. All of the space is connected. The space from outside is connected to the space from the inside. The space is connected all the way through here, and that space inside here is still connected through this one tile space gap over here. So that's probably a better way to put it. All the space in space has to be connected through each other. I don't know if that's a better way to put it. It doesn't sound like a better way to put it when I say it like that. Right, we ought to be at Novice by now. We are, actually. Mech armor is 20 minutes from done. Arrived at Novice. Well, that went better than expected as too. I did not think we would make it. Okay, I did think we would make it if we would just switch off the engine, but we flew most of the distance. Looking. We had a 2-week calculation and simulation session on Discord with at least 5 people to get to this shape. You can see it's a very complex shape. It's has 4 sides and has 90-degree angles, and it's basically a rectangle. Yeah, the ultimate answer will disappoint you, but it really took 2 weeks of calculations to get to a rectangle. Anyway, that will be in the upcoming video. How much fusion got used? Yeah, let's take a look at that. Right, so we can actually yeet all of this back. I think I want to keep it in there though. So it does get, I don't know why, but it does get consumed asymmetrically. Here we got 49 cells left, which basically means we use this much of a fuel cell into this fusion reactor. But here we have only 34 left. So it's 49, 98. Okay, let's count how many we consumed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 9, and 13 is 22, and 26. 48. We used up less than a stack of fusion cells for the entire journey. That is not too bad. About 15k fluid in there. Don't exactly know how that is calculated. All of these things were full of fluid basically all the time, so I don't know why it's so asymmetrically consumed, especially left to right here. This is kind of symmetric. One has 45, one has 37. The topology term is contiguous. Ah, contiguous, alright. I see. I know, I recognize the word. It didn't come into my head. No. Thanks Wolfgang for the Prime subscription as well. Yeah, the uploads won't go faster indeed. If anything, they will become slower because I have to compress more story into an episode, and the episode will get a bit more complex. And they will become longer as well. The earlier episodes were often in the 10 to 15 minute range. The last couple ones have been around half an hour already. I think we're going to exceed half an hour on the next one, which basically is like 2.5 episodes in one if you think about it, in terms of length. And the space platform one is going to require a lot of setting up scenes to visualize the explanations instead of having regular gameplay in the background. It's a hard G on contiguous. That sounds off to me. Of course, I'm not a native speaker. The reactor needs to push the used fluid out to consume the next cell. The reactor needs to push the fluid out to consume the next cell. It will not start consuming the next cell if there is still fluid in there. That's a weird mechanic. It does kind of make sense though, since this one is connected to... But why is... This one is connected to the front, but these are like equal. I guess there's... All of the fluid system is connected to each other. So why are these being emptied at different rates? I don't... Fusion works a little bit weird. I haven't really looked into it much just yet. I'm already glad I just could get this to work at full power. Contiguous. I'll try to remember. 1000 times video linked. 1000 times editing cost, man. Is it feasible at scale to deliver resources using rockets like on Fulgora? I'd say yes, it's a minor inconvenience to ship stuff around the planet, or the solar system, at least the inner solar system. Takes but even these ships are taking like 3-minute flights or so, which is not too bad. Early game laser ships, and they could go faster now. They easily win against these asteroids. But for instance, let's cover all of the things I'm shipping outside of science packs. We are shipping nuclear fuels to Gleba, nuclear fuel cells to Gleba with the gun turret ship. That's only every blue moon, every once in a blue moon. We are also shipping, as you can see, this thing ships processing units, basically ships rocket ingredients to Gleba. So those are the two things being shipped to Gleba. We are not shipping anything to Fulgora, as everything comes from the trash here. We are shipping plastics to Vulcanus though, because if we wouldn't be shipping plastics to Vulcanus, we would have a severe coal shortage pretty soon, since Purple Science takes a lot of petroleum gas based products, like for the red chips and whatnot. And for which are used for the modules and the furnaces. That would up the coal usage factor by a factor of 8, I believe. If we would mine all the coal for plastics on Vulcanus. It's not the mining of the coal per se that does it, but it is that we need to use coal for coal liquefaction to make petroleum gas for the plastics as well, next to needing coal directly for plastics. That is really what pushes the equation into unreasonable coal usage. If you need 1000 times science cost for regular playthroughs is fine. Alright, let's think, I think it's time to think about what to research next. I'm already too late, I think. Yeah, I'm too late already. we need a little bit of time to start up Gleben signs. We're probably starting up Gleben signs. Do we have the resources for the rare mech armor? I didn't really want to think about that. But we can just use the save. I think the stream is gonna end soon. Triggered landmines can make holes. Triggered landmines can make holes in ships? Landmines? I thought you needed nukes for that. Okay, we gotta test it out then right now as well. Right now. Everything goes out of the window. We gotta test it. Alright, it's fairly easy to test. We need a little bit of space. Right. I guess all those laser turrets are also gonna shoot any biter I spawn in. I just delete all laser turrets from the ship. We're hovering above Novice anyway. Okay, we have a perfect gap over here. Landmines. You can see how often I use them. Alright, biter. Where are you at? Oh. Alright. It did appear. Let's send those. You can make holes with landmines. That is weird, isn't it? What else can you make? Can you make holes with explosive rockets too? As well then, or what? Let's try some rockets. I know you can do it with these rockets, the atomic rockets. Railguns don't explode. I think that's all that explodes really. Okay, normal rocket does not do the trick. Explosive rocket probably will not do the trick either. The explosive rocket is fine. Landmines is a pretty cheap way to make holes in your spaceship then. How do you trigger landmines? I know why they did it. I know why they did it. Yeah. They did it exactly to... I think people used to build spaceships like this, right? To destroy asteroids, and they didn't want that. So they made it so that landmines blew up space platforms. I guess then I inadvertently... These are the new landmines then. Walls are the new landmines, I guess. That is how we got to the solar system edge. That is basically the new landmine then. Alright, I know what you want to see, so let's do it. We'll get the behemoth on there. Smooth. That's quite a big sizier hole, isn't it? Does the game still allow you to... Okay, now we can build. Okay, it doesn't let us make a new hole in the hole. You can see that gets blocked. It stays open. We can only fill it in again. Weird mechanics. Try artillery. I think nukes were the only thing that got changed. Landmines got changed because people were using it to kill asteroids. Artillery. Does anybody use... Can you even use artillery in space? Gotta have a remote. Right, so artillery, yeah, doesn't blow up the platform. Cannot blow up asteroids though. Can you manually... I have artillery. Do I not need railguns to go to the solar system edge? Where is the stuff? Give me the stuff. The stuff is here. Stuff is not here. Oh, we can. It does take a lot of... Okay, no. Okay, we are doing 10... We're doing 10 damage per artillery shell. I guess that's the flat. 10k physical, 1k physical, 1k explosion. Yeah, we got 99% explosion resistance. And basically 100% physical resistance. Okay, so we can, but not Prometheums. We should be able to destroy big ones then, shouldn't we? %. Oh yeah, you are supposed to use explosives to blow those up. Big. Medium. Oh, we even have area of effect attack there. Are we out of ammo? Alright, now we're just messing around really. Alright, so you cannot go to the solar system edge or farm Prometheum asteroids with artillery. Unfortunately. You cannot fill the hole completely. You cannot. I guess, yeah, I guess you cannot. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as doing this, basically. Right? So this tile is still a hole. Okay, I could fill it in editor mode. Now I cannot create it again. Okay, so we gotta blow a new hole. Let's blow a smaller hole. Alright, so let's give the platform some of those. Get out of editor mode. Yeah, we can walk around on the ship after having been in editor mode. Yeah, it does fill in the hole. Perhaps that got changed. I think that probably, if that was the old behavior, I don't know if it was, but it probably got changed after the adding of making it possible to blow holes in the ship with nukes and landmines. Yeah, artillery now has damage upgrades. In fact, we are no longer able even to one-shot a... I don't think we're able to one-shot our base anymore. $1,600 health. Yeah, yeah, I remember now. We already needed 2 artillery shells to blow up the biter base we actually blew up. It's been a while since we got that, man. I forgot about that. But we blew up these guys, and indeed the walls got one-shotted. But we did use 2 artillery shells. To shoot it. Yeah, you should be able to get to Aquilo. Apparently it's the intended way to blow up big asteroids. You're supposed to use the rocket turrets, I believe, which is also explosive damage. But I don't think artillery can auto-target. I don't think artillery can auto-target asteroids, right? I guess it should have done that already. I mean, I guess it will auto-target a spawner if we place that in space. This is not gonna go well. Oh, we are at 9% evolution in space. So the bases do get blown up instantly here. And there is no behemoth biter spawning. No way, dude. Now we're just getting silly, come on. Welcome to the space demolisher. It's angry. This is just getting stupid. I think it starts to be time to think about ending the stream. It's getting out of control. Is this guy blowing up my space platforms? It doesn't look like it. Yeah, the space platforms stay intact. There goes the reactor, I guess. My reactor is pretty big, but just look at the size of that guy. Oh wait, it's gonna get destroyed now. Yeah, it's the end. Alright, as the cargo hub gets destroyed, it's the end. Is this guy behind all the wormholes? We got a new scientific theory about how wormholes form. You just go in the mouth of a space demolisher and you come out of the tail end. In some different location. I'm kind of getting intrigued about that world playthrough. I think I'm gonna do that next week. We'll play the opening. Maybe. I don't know, it was so tedious, man. It was so tedious. I definitely will get my hand feeding fixed though. If we need to do that build. Let's just I don't have battery anymore, I think. My
battery was pretty crap to begin with today. But let's take a look. Let's just load this very specific map. 914579279. That was the seed. We can continue with the mech armor in some next time if we do it. Alright. So we chose this seed because it has a lot of forest, unlike this map. So this is default settings. We also chose it that there are a lot of resource patches visible already. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 iron. Is copper always more rare than iron? I don't think such should be the case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 iron, 1, 2, 3 copper. So let's just cycle through a couple ones. You can see the biter bases on default settings. So let's load our seed again. Does not look that special actually compared to the other ones. It does have a lot of forests, so it has got that going for it. Let's now change it to that world and see what the biter bases do. So we got the uranium boys over here being, this is the starter lake, the starter resources I suppose. We got here, this is the Johnny family. Those Johnnies which are located under the personal rocket silo. So that gives you an indication of the size of the base. We had these resources, we had the base here. And this was kind of outside the base. We had the steam engines here. So this was the size of the base, I suppose. Let's go that world now. Yeah, okay, so the Johnnies are now a big nest. The uranium boys have gotten like 4 companion nests around it. And we even have a nest on our starter coal. Plus another nest right here. This area is still pretty empty. But all of the nests here have gotten significantly bigger. We easily... This was like 4 nests and like a couple worms. Each around this iron patch, which we claimed. That is going to be off the table. The 10 million coal patch. I mean, it is not covered in biters, but we cannot mine it for sure. So this map is already not going to be possible on that world, that is for sure. Let's again go back to default settings. You can see all of this is basically free and claimable. We took down these biters. This was pretty big already, and we did it in the small biter phase. That's not going to exist in combat on that world. Yeah, we took down these nests to get this iron. We claimed this oil with these 3 nests over here. And this oil we claimed with these biters over here. Let's go back to that world. Okay, I'm changing my opinion already. Like, we're not even gonna get gun turret, man. This is a pretty forgiving start as well. Just the resources are far away as well. There's no way we're getting this. The oil is now covered in giant biter bases as well. This oil is now covered in giant biter bases as well. Yeah, there's no way. Let's cycle through a couple maps. I know they are actually able to spawn on your starter patches. You got a good forest here as well, but there are no resources nearby, not really. This is actually one of the rarer forested deserty maps. At least this area, this is pretty open. I don't think there's enough resources here either. It's hard to judge, but... Look, default settings, you can have this entire area just by taking down like a couple very small nests. On that world, no. That's already pretty populated. And you're not gonna claim anything further out. There's no chance. Right. I'll have a look at some more Dead World maps. Perhaps I can find a decent opening or like a decent map to try an opening which has at least a couple accessible iron and coal and copper patches so we can nomad our way to gun turrets, because I don't think that is enough pollution space to just keep control of the starting area. We gotta just mine and then just hit and run the ore patches. So we hit the ore patches and we run before the first biter attack comes. That's the only way to survive pre-gun turret. Without keeping your hands clean. That's not gonna change the opening much. That would just require us to get to laser turrets as well, though. It wouldn't be much more. It wouldn't be much more difficult to do keeping your hands clean on that world if that world turns out to be possible. Because we don't want to destroy the biter bases anyway to keep evolution going at the minimum pace possible. And the moment we can destroy the biter bases with laser turrets, we should also be able to just wall in the biter bases with laser turrets. That's the same thing. And then use biter zoos to absorb the pollution again. And we can get keeping our hands clean on that world as well. If you think about it like that, it's not really an extra. It's kind of the natural way to go, really. Yeah, the good old run like a chicken strategy, both from Ultimate Dead World as well as from I think the first stream I did on Twitch only. It was the VODs are on the second YouTube channel of that one. Crastorio Dead World. We did a pure Dead World settings Crastorio run. And on Crastorio, gun turrets are also hidden behind. It's hidden like a couple technologies deep. You cannot just go out and get it. So we had to do some nomading there as well to get the resources to unlock gun turrets, so we could defend ourselves there. It was a pretty fun playthrough as well, Crastorio. We ended up nomading and tiptoeing around, and in the end, Crastorio has those pollution absorbers, so we just put pollution absorbers in every chunk. We were producing pollution so that no pollution escaped the factory at all, and we just let the biters expand all over the factory. We only had to be careful to not physically walk within trigger range, but they would just coexist with our factory and the machinery right next door, and the mining drills as well, because we could just suck all of the pollution out of the air in the chunks it was created. So the biters never would get angry because they smelled pollution. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful coexistence there. I guess we could go either flamethrowers or landmines to take out biter bases on that world. I saw Cuviboy do it. That would require a lot less resources. Wouldn't it? Maybe it is possible to get... if you don't need to get the laser turrets, if you can clear them. It probably is possible to do 1,000 times cost on that world without keeping your hands clean. Keeping your hands clean would only be possible if you can get the laser turrets though, which is a tall order. I'm gonna think about it a little over the course of the next week. Alright, I think that's gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you enjoyed the base tour and the reflecting back on the playthrough.
I hope I didn't miss too many questions. I did my best. Next week I'm probably gonna then just attempt the Dead World opening. We'll see how it goes though. I'm gonna be focusing on editing. So we'll see how it goes. I think for the Patreons, I think it will take 2 weeks to get the episode done. It should be probably around 40 to 45 minutes in length in the end. Unless I end up cutting parts out which turn out to be less necessary than I thought, which sometimes happens. Then it can get on a bit faster. Yeah, that's all we got for today. Thanks everybody for watching. Let's go back to the beginning. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time.